Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast with as much bite as a toothless Edmontosaurus. My name is Matthew Donald, and each week on a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week, I'm joined by Stephen Curro. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah.
Happy to be here as always.
It is good. It is good. And it's been a while since I've been back in this town in Greeley, where I graduated college. It's been now over 10 years since I graduated.
We actually met here at good old UNC.
Mm-hmm. We absolutely did. So
back in our Illuminati days.
Absolutely. And yep, it has been a long and beautiful friendship. I don't think I've ever had a single fight with you, which is more than I can say for some, if not any of my friends.
We have actually had a good run.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some disagreements. Like, I'm more, not pro-AI, but I'm not anti-AI, and you're, like, pretty anti-AI.
I'm pretty anti.
Yeah.
But we find a common ground.
And we're respectable about each other. Like, we respect each other's differing opinions. So, yeah, that's pretty good. But we got to fight about something, man. We got to get that passion back. Have you seen Community?
No.
Oh, okay. There's like a whole episode where like this one guy's like, every man needs to get punched in the face once. It's a rite of passage. You're not a man until you get punched in the face.
I feel bad. You keep bringing up all these movies and shows that I somehow haven't seen.
Community's
I feel uncultured.
Community's great. I don't know what's on anymore. It used to be on Netflix. It came on Netflix. It got on Netflix during COVID, and that's how a lot of people started watching it for the first time, because it was sort of big when it came out, but wasn't huge. And then once it got on Netflix, and then COVID hit, and then everyone's like, I need to watch something. Community's great. Oh my God. It's like, yeah. Listeners, go watch Community. It's such a good job. I'm describing more of it, but I'm not paid by Community. And plus, we need to talk about dinosaurs. Specifically, we're talking about one of your, I don't know if this is one of your favorite dinosaurs, but you certainly like this. You certainly like this dinosaur, and it's one of your favorite characters.
Yes.
In Dinotopia is this dinosaur.
This one has a special place in my heart for sure.
Yes, and it's one of the slightly bigger ones that we have not talked about yet. I found there's like a list of like 4 or 5, not huge, not A-lister, but certainly B-lister dinosaurs that like
B+ at least.
Like people know about them, and some even non-dino nerds know about them, but we haven't covered them yet, and this is one of them. So, Protoceratops, it means first horn-faced, even though it's not even close to the first horn face.
Doesn't even have horns at all.
No.
Yeah.
It's like I guess they thought it was like, oh, this is like an early ceratopsian, except it's not. It lived pretty late in the Cretaceous.
Yeah, they didn't quite understand the full connection to the lineage at that.
Type, it's a Protoceratopsid. Ceratopsian, a group of horned dinosaurs, the more basal than the Chasmosaurine or Centrosaurine subgroups, but lived contemporaneously with them, which is a fun quirk of evolution. So
there you go.
Size 6.6 to 8.2 feet, /2 to 2.5 meters long, 137 to 229 pounds, 662 to 104 kilograms. What I love about that weight, it's not rounded up or anything, but those very specific numbers in both metric units and freedom units.
That is unusual.
I guess they're pretty confident about their estimates.
Well, they've had some pretty good specimens too.
I guess some very good specimens. We'll get into that for sure. I like how it's also pretty close to my size, 6.6. It's longer than me and weighs less than me, though.
You're saying we found your spirit animal. Basically,
Protoceratops. I'm 6.6 to 8.2 feet tall and 137 to 229 pounds. I wish either of those things were true. Diet herbivore. His time was late Cretaceous, 75 to 71 million years ago. See what I mean? Like, this is like the 75, 71 million years ago. Like, this is when Styracosaurus lived, and like Pachyrhinosaurus, and like Velociraptor. Well, I know, but specifically talking about like the.
Yes, I know.
In fact, actually, one of the animals, it lived at the same time. So close to the same place that I bet maybe in the real life there was some overlap. You know Sinoceratops from Jurassic World?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It lived around the same time and place. Not quite. Again, the formations, they're slightly different, but it lived at the same time. So I bet in real life they probably would have interacted.
Given migration patterns and whatnot, is a fair bet.
Yeah. So location, Mongolia and China. Described in 1923 by Roy Chapman Andrews. Pop culture appearances, Dinotopia, of course.
Yes.
But also the TV programs Dinosaur Planet, Dinosaur Revolution, Chased by Dinosaurs, The Truth About Killer Dinosaurs, and Dinosaur Train. The movies Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as a skeleton on display in Lockwood Manor.
Okay.
Dino King 2, Journey to Fire Mountain, and the video games Dino Island, Prehistoric Kingdom, and The Isle. I'm sure there's a lot more, but those are the ones I could find.
Gotten around even farther than I thought. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it's got range. Yeah. Oh, I said Dinosaur Planet. Never mind. I was about to say I missed that one. No, I got that one. I didn't put Downotopia in my notes there. I had to improv that in. I don't know why I forgot Downotopia.
How could you forget?
I know Bix would hate me.
Bix would be she'd be lecturing you in Latin.
Yeah, she would be. She's one of those people that's like really smart and knows it. Like an insufferable genius.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because sort of like Sheldon. It's like, but not quite to that level.
She's a bit more polite than Sheldon.
But it's like like you hate the fact that she's usually right about everything because she's like so smug about it. Like sort of like Sherlock, and
she's tricksy too. Like she manipulated the tyrannosaurs that were harassing the dinosaur convoy.
Yes, exactly. Which is crazy because the tyrannosaurs could look at a Protoceratops and be like, chomp.
Right, exactly.
Just instantly. It wouldn't be a nice meaty meal. So despite often shown in the line for simplicity's sake, showing the evolution of their ceratopsians, with Psittacosaurus behind it and Triceratops ahead of it, Protoceratops actually lived alongside many more derived ceratopsians. In fact, didn't live far, like I said, from Sinoceratops in terms of location. It did technically live before Triceratops, though, and well after Psittacosaurus. So the graph is kind of accurate in regards to time, but not in terms. It's not like Psittacosaurus evolved into Protoceratops that didn't evolve into Triceratops.
No. It was not a straight line by any means.
Protoceratops was just a very basal ceratopsian that didn't have much need to further evolve like its more derived cousins along that time. It's like, this is a perfect design, and I'm sticking to it.
It was perfectly comfortable in its environmental niche.
One of the things I found, they found some evidence that it might have had a sail-like structure on its tail, kind of like the newt fin thing in Spinosaurus.
My boss at Dinosaur Ridge called it butt fuzz.
Yeah. It's like, was it for display or swimming or temperature regulation? Who knows? Probably not swimming because I think it was a desert around then.
I would say probably display.
Yeah, display. That makes sense. Kind of like Psittacosaurus' weird feather thing.
Yes.
It was uncovered by famous paleontologist and Indiana Jones inspiration Roy Chapman Andrews, further supporting the popular confusion of paleontologists and archaeologists among the general public because he was inspired in Indiana Jones. My friend Matt Seivert does not know the two of them apart. Even having the show Paleo Bites, like that's helped him a little bit. It was like, paleontologists or archaeologists? I'm like, it's not that hard.
It is astounding how many people I bump into who still confuse the two.
It's like one's about human history, one's about
everything else.
Everything about natural history. Yeah. So
right.
So it's does get into the it does kind of intermingle when you get to like Homo erectus and like Homo sapien and Cro-Magnons and stuff.
But besides that,
those are still paleontology though. Well, I guess maybe not for Cro-Magnons, but like for I don't know. It actually was named after him. The type species by nomen name being Protoceratops andrewsi. He didn't describe it. He wasn't that vain, but he did. Him and his team did discover it. So, so that's pretty cool. Roy Chapman Andrews is one of those guys that I think sounds cool. I look at him and it sounds cool, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's like actually, if you look into it, really racist or like problematic.
Given the time period.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, actually. Yeah, he did these great digs, but he also had a bunch of slaves that went with him. I don't know.
A lot of underpaid foreigners. Like, this is Mongolia.
Yeah, it's true. Just underpaid a bunch of Mongolians to like work for me, you animals, or something.
And I will take your national treasures.
Yeah. Oh man, it's funny how the concept of like Indiana Jones or Uncharted or whatever, it just doesn't fly anymore. People are like, no, you should. It's not they should belong in a museum. They should belong in their country of origin.
Right.
It's like you should add that it belongs in a museum in its country of origin.
Oh well, the Museum of London is like packed with all sorts of amazing artifacts that have essentially been stolen.
Yeah. It's like
the Rosetta Stone is in London. I mean, why?
One of my favorite. You know how people like to do different poses, particularly with like the the Lean Tower of Pisa, where you look like you're leaning on or pushing away. One of my favorite ones someone did was they were standing at that same pose, but then they had someone take a backpack and hold it over like this, like they were taking it. It's like collecting this for the British Museum.
That's fun. That's a good one.
So it looked like they were like putting it in.
I used to date a girl from the Netherlands very briefly, and
Dutch.
She said, yes, she was Dutch. And she said that there was a species of mosasaur that was found in the Netherlands but is now owned by the French, and the French refused to give it back.
I heard about this. I actually talked
Yes.
about this in our Mosasaurus episode
Right.
that I did with my friend of the show, Lexi.
There you go. So you know a bit about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said that the Dutch have offered they have asked, can we just like borrow it and have an exhibition? And the French were like, no, we know you'll never give it back if we let you have it.
Well, I mean, you know,
it's theirs in the first place.
I know. It's like, of course they'll never give it back. It's theirs. Like, speaking of fighting and quarreling like that, one of the most famous specimens of Protoceratops is known as the fighting dinosaur specimen.
Ah, yes.
See, that's a good segue there. I'm smart.
Well done.
So, it's an incredible find of a Protoceratops and the Velociraptor locked in combat, even in skeletal form, showing they died very quickly. Like the Velociraptor's sickle claws buried in the Protoceratops's back, and the stomach, and the Protoceratops's beak is biting the Velociraptor's hand.
Mm-hmm. Like of all the moments that you could take a snapshot with natural history, that was the moment where they died. Like it's crazy.
It is. They presumably died due to a collapsing sand dune that killed them both, and simultaneously preserved them together. You know. Killed by Dune, I can relate. I nearly died watching Dune as well. That movie is so boring.
I liked it.
No, I know.
It
a lot
does
of people
drag
like
on a bit, though.
It's just, look,
the book nearly killed me, though. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the one thing I'll give the book credit for, there's this one copy of it that like has this awesome cover where it's like the way they wrote out Dune, it works at any angle.
Oh, that's cool.
Because the way DUNE.
So it's structured either way. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool. And the movie version kind of tries that because it just has the circle, but then it adds that dot at the end of the E to make it like they could just had not add the dot and made it look like dunk.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean I tried to watch Dune, and look, visual masterpiece, cinematography masterpiece, music masterpiece, great shot, great scale.
But
I didn't care about any of the characters.
I felt that way when reading the book.
Yeah.
The movie brings out the characters' emotions better, so I was able to stick with it. But the book, I was like, why? Like
they were too busy.
Jessica's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
She complains so much.
Oh my goodness. Look, good on Frank Herbert and good on Denis Villeneuve or whatever his name is.
However you pronounce his name.
It's French, I don't know. I back to the Protoceratops and Velociraptor. I did see a funny webcomic that was like imagining an alternate scenario where like Protoceratops was like got stuck in a tar pit and the Velociraptor came and was like, here, let me try to help you, and the Velociraptor was like, no, get off. It's like, wait, no, he tries to climb on him. It's like, wait, no, it's not. And he's like biting. It's like, no, please stop, you're making it worse. And then they just
that's fantastic.
So,
I saw a similar webcomic where the Velociraptor and the Protoceratops are fighting, and the Protoceratops bites the raptor's arm, and the raptor claws him in the neck, and they're stuck together. And they're like, "Okay, you let go. Okay, you let go first. No, you. No, you. No, you. No." And then they both sink into the sand.
Yeah. That is pretty good. There's one that's like, "All right, go," and then someone's got a picture and like sort of like do you ever seen History of the World Part 1?
Oh god, that movie's insane. Yeah, I have seen that one.
Yeah, so it's like there's one you've seen. Yeah, remember the part where they go to they end up at the Last Supper? and
so blasphemous, but so
I know,
funny.
but it's so funny. But then Leonardo da Vinci comes in, and he's like, "Wait, no, everyone, you gotta get on the same side of the table, because this isn't gonna work on my painting."
Right.
Then Mel Brooks' character like trips and falls and ends up being the Mary on lap or something when Leonardo da Vinci takes the picture, I guess.
Mel Brooks was insane.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh man, sorry, Jesus, yes, oh no, not you." But yeah, I imagine that's what happened.
One of you shall betray me. Judas, would you like some water?
It's like, oh, but it's nearly time to go, and it's a watch, but it's a sundial. Or it's not sundial. It's a glass.
Right.
Glass. Yeah. Or
no wonder Mel Gibson.
Not Mel Gibson.
Wrong Mel.
No.
God, I'm getting all.
One of them is Jew. One of them is anti-Jewish.
Right. We don't like Mel Gibson. He's a schmuck.
He's a good actor in something. Like I liked him in Chicken Run and in Maverick.
Right.
Terrible person.
Mel Brooks.
Yes.
It's a wonder he didn't do any weird dinosaurish movies.
He had the caveman at the beginning of History of the World Part 1.
It's caveman.
Well, I mean, but he also had Australopithecus too. I think he had a bit because it was parodying the 2001: A Space Odyssey,
right?
And then it had one of my favorite jokes because it had Orson Welles narrating to give it legitimacy. And it's like it showed them with a cave paintings. Like first came the first artists, followed shortly afterwards by the first critic, and then one of the cavemen pees on the cave painting.
That does sound about right.
And then he has and on this, God has struck the 15, and then one of the 3 tablets falls and breaks the 10 commandments.
That explains why we're so messed up.
Yeah, I wonder if those 5 really would have put the whole hood all together, but alas, we lost them, so 10 it is. Anyway, so Protoceratops. Speaking of myths. And like say Moses, I know, shots fired.
Sure.
It's also believed that to be the inspiration behind the myth of the griffin.
Really?
Some people some medieval Mongolians are thought to have found the fossils and used their bones and structures to interpret the skeletal form of what later became described as the griffin.
Huh.
Now, not everyone believes this is where the origin is from. Let's have some fun.
It seems plausible to me.
Yeah, if you didn't know what it was, I could see like a weird lion
with a
bird
with
thing.
an eagle-ish face.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there are all kinds of theories that dinosaurs were the misinterpreted ideas of giants and dragons. So sure, why not a griffin?
Well, and also the whole thing with we think that the Cyclops came from seeing those elephant skulls, and then because there's a big hole in the center for the nasal cavity, the trunk,
Cyclops too,
and then so they're like, oh, that must be an eye socket. So yeah, that's pretty cool if that's true, but if not, whatever. But Protoceratops, look, it's people kind of I think they don't give it a lot of time of day because it is kind of a smaller, worse version of Triceratops, but. I think it's cool. I think there's a lot of I don't know. I think there's a lot to appreciate about it. The fighting dinosaurs thing is cool, and it lived. We got evidence it lived alongside and was hunted by velociraptors. So.
I see a hardy, scrappy desert survivor.
Indeed,
with a hell of a bite.
Yes, indeed. Did you ever watch Dinosaur Planet when you were younger? That made the oviraptors freaking terrifying.
Oh, podcast.
Yeah, it's and they were way bigger too than they should. I think they based them off of Kipactli or whatever it was, the other one, the actually, because that was more was based off of I don't know whether those cries they made, yeah, very feathered too.
Prehistoric Mongolia was just a terrifying place in general.
I remember when watching Dinosaur Planet and I saw because at the end it leads up to how that fossil was formed. Remember, because I think it was Whitetip's mate. Fights the
Protoceratops. It's the moment of the Protoceratops.
But then when the dune collapses because there was just recently a big storm that dislodged all the sand. Yeah, so when I saw them, I was like, oh, that's how they're bringing it together. Okay, so it's interesting when they do that. When they try to bring a dinosaur fossil to life, especially with Big Al,
Right.
It's what was his story?
I love that. It's nature was filled with all sorts of stories before people even showed up.
Indeed. So I'm gonna give Protoceratops respectful 52 million.
I'll give it a 55.
Yeah,
55 mil.
Yes, it is a smaller, worse Triceratops, but I think again, that kind of environment couldn't handle a Triceratops. Protoceratops is as big and bulky as it could get.
Wouldn't do as well, yeah.
Although I guess may not be necessarily true because there actually was some titanosaurs in that area. I think they now might have thought so. And then there was also freaking Tarbosaurus. So you know what? 41 million.
How dare you?
Protoceratops is cool. 52 million. So, and you're rating it 55 million?
Yeah, I'll give it 55.
Yeah, it's a scrappy little fellow.
It's pretty scrappy, and yes, part of it is my Dinotopia bias because I grew up with Bix.
Yeah, no, Bix is great. Bix is a great character. And I she does a council with some other there's a Leptoceratops and a Bagaceratops and some other ones like that.
Yeah.
So she talks with them and then
it's even a special speaking platform for them to put their hind legs.
I know, I like
their front legs on.
And I like that
it's
in the
cute.
world beneath, she was constantly snarky about all the machines. She was like, "Look at these pieces of garbage!
What an ill-mannered beast!"
Yeah, it's like, and then Arthur's like, "This could be cool. We don't even need you anymore, Bix." So insensitive.
She's like, "Well, at least they're more considerate than humans."
It's like we don't get no respect. Was it that?
No respect.
Yeah,
no respect at all.
What's that guy's name?
I don't remember, but I know who
he
you're
did the
talking
dog
about.
movie.
Right,
Rodney
right.
Dangerfield.
Yes.
It's like, I don't get no respect. My wife was going out, and then I said, "Where are you going?" And she said, "Oh, I'm going to Five Nights at Freddy's." I was like, "Oh, well, enjoy the movie." And she's like, "What movie?"
Good Lord. Alrighty then.
That's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at palebytespodcast@gmail.com, at palebytespodcast on Blue Sky and on Instagram. Where can they find you?
You can find me at stephencccurro.com. That's StephenCurro.com. PH, not V.
Yes, Stephen C. Curro, and
Yes.
not Stephen Curry, Stephen Curro.
Precisely.
Yes, Stephen like Stephen Strange, not Stephen as in Steve Rogers.
I like that. Yeah, Stephen Strange, Steven Spielberg.
Yes, well, Steven Spielberg I think is with a V.
Is he? Oh.
I think. Is he?
No, you're right. It is a V.
Yeah, like.
Ah,
Yeah, no, you got Stephen Curry and
we PH people
Stephen
don't
Strange
get no
on your-
respect.
Yeah, you don't get no respect.
No respect at all.
Oh man, I have a book series on Amazon Megazoic available for print and Kindle. There is a Protoceratops in it. You might not remember, but he's one of the royal guards.
Yeah.
And he's in the first book a little bit, but he just to give like a little bit of a just breathe life into Mikowan's chambers. But then he gives like a really heartfelt speech to Quinn in the third book after Quinn's like, I've gone too far. Like, what if there are orders that I feel like I shouldn't follow, but I have to? And so he asked
I remember that one.
asked the royal guard about it, and he said like, yeah, because like I had some reservations about some of Mikowan's orders then too. So yeah, like he's not a big role, and I don't even think he has a name, but he helps a little bit. And again, like, helps Quinn.
There's yet another pop culture.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm sure there's a lot I'm missing in regards to it, but yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week. Don't get caught in tar, and if you do, fight someone and make it look cool. But bite their hand and
bite them and take them with you.
Bite them and take them with you while they dig their feet into you.
This is strange.
I know, strange image for humans. Okay.
Thanks for listening. If you want to further support the show, you should subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/MatthewDonald, where you can get ad-free episodes, and you can get the raw, unedited episodes, and every month you get bonus episodes where we talk about pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. We've talked about Jurassic Park, we've talked about the obscure strategy game Dino Island, we've talked about Friends, we've talked about Google Chrome, we've talked about Dinoverse, we've talked about Terra Nova. Who knows what we'll talk about? It's a mystery every time. So go and check it out at patreon.com/MatthewDonald. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day. Chomp.